Recording in progress.
Well, welcome everybody. And today we're gonna have a transmission of 35th Jinki, the Jinki of Miracle. Do you have this in your chart?
Actually, I should check, but I don't.
It's okay.
Yeah.
So this is the key that is giving us a possibility for breakthrough and for transforming the DNA and for kind of inviting the miracles possible to happen in our lives. The shadow of hunger, the gift of adventure, and the city of boundlessness. Say correctly? And what is interesting about this key is in terms of codon rings in the group of the keys, where we have several keys together based on the amino acid. So for example, if 4 keys are activated by one of the amino acid, they're going to be in one group. But with the 35th gene key, it's only one. It's not in a group with anybody, and it's a codon ring of miracle where just this key itself. And in the whole group of keys, there are only 2 keys that stays like this individually. The first one is 41st. It's the key, the codon ring of beginnings. The codon that initiates the start of transcription of our DNA. So it's like the 41st is initiation codon, and 35 is as I said, the codon ring of miracle. And it's interesting that it's in a way not pairs with anybody, as it stays on its own and giving us this ability to go to quantum realms. And what I love about this key is that it's showing us how we attach to things. And it's showing us also that, in fact, the only power that can help us to break through is love. But this we will discover a bit later. We'll start with the shadow, as you know. So we'll first dive into the shadow, and then we explore and go higher and higher. And today we're gonna have 4 teas: the green tea, 2 types of red tea, and water. And start with the green, which is green tea. And the program partner of the 35 is the 5th gene key. Program partner is 2 keys like a pair. They connect with one another, like yin and yang, and they activate in a way each other. And the 5th gene key is the key of patience. The 5th gene key is the key of patience. So we see how hunger connects with the patience or impatience. And we see how And we see how boundlessness connects with timelessness. We'll see when we go into the city. As the pair of these 2 jinks is what is interesting for me to explore here, because it's a love to explore the quantum paradigm, that these 2 keys is basically that gives us possibility to, in a way, break through the matrix and bend the time and space to create whatever we want to create, or destroy if we want to destroy something, and activate a response in our system that will, in a way, create miracles. When I say miracles, I mean something that is kind of impossible for a logical mind, for a linear. And yes, we're starting with the shadow. I just will remind we discovered today 35th gene key: hunger, adventure, and boundlessness. And today we're diving into this hunger as a shadow first, and then we will have an open circle for sharing calculations, and have 40 students, unfortunately, so I don't have any herbal teas. We start with chestnut tea, so you tell if you want or not how it goes. Maybe just a little bit of each one. We have 4 teas today. And so hunger. And let's also see what's interesting, because last week we've been discovering the 16 gene key. And if we will look on human design chart, these keys, they are on opposite sides of the spectrum. And they even, in a way, quite opposite. The 16 gene key that we discovered, there was a key of mastering, the key of master through repetition. Like you need to kind of choose a pattern or like choose some ability that you want to master, to be master of. And you need to repeat every day. You repeat a pattern until this will become your talent. And through this, you move to the field of mastery, where through this field, anything, kind of any abilities are available for you. But this is a key of logic. It's like it's a logical pathway, where the 35s is it's more connects with emotions and feelings and experience, and it connects with the way of I don't care about like patterns or about the even the reason why I'm doing this. All I need is experience. All I need to experience something, and through experience I will learn. And through this experience I will receive something, and then I can share this with the world, like a wisdom or something that I feel like I can bring out after this. And that's why in the channels there is 35, 36, how they connected in human design, and 36 is a key of crisis. And it means that if we go into experience without clarity, we will create a crisis, because either we jump into something that we don't really need out of hunger, or we just like driven by our emotions, but we're not fully, or we go when sorry a bit like early, for example, than it needed, and then we create a crisis. But at the same time, crisis is always possibility to grow, to learn something, and to evolve. So this is key of, in a way, evolution, and it's an opposite of 16. Like if 16, it would say, okay, I want to become master, for example, of Jenkins, and I will study it every day. And so like for 7 years, you need to study something you can fully become master in it. Then with 35, it's kind of the one who just love to try everything. Or I will try like handpan, flute, piano, astrology, like, I don't know, gardening, whatever. Whatever I can try, I will try, and I will become not even a master, not a master. It doesn't try to become master. It's just try to have an experience. And this is what is for to experience. And when we move into hunger, what we can experience this week? Because this key is from 1st till 7th June in our energy field. So today is 3rd. So we still have 4 days of this energy to unfold. And the hunger either can drives, I think it's the inner drive to experience something, to try something, to jump into something. And it's driven by a feeling of like emptiness, or like I want something, I need to fulfill my needs. On the opposite, it's kind of being very boring. It's a person who stop even trying. It's like, okay, nothing's happening and I don't need anything, kind of a little bit like a depression, this type of energy. And on the physiological level, it's connected with amino acid training. That's the life is like, no,
Yeah, I don't drink so much tea, coffee, like those.
Is this one caffeinated? It's herbal teas today.
it's caffeinated.
Oh, it's
Yeah. They're all slightly caffeinated. So where is I would say is the most because where is the dark tea?
I didn't hear that. No, I thought, yeah, I thought you said jasmine tea, so I thought it was,
Green and jasmine.
But
tea.
it's green tea.
always it's caffeinated, but
yeah,
if it's jasmine herbal, then
right,
it's without.
yeah.
They're all teas. They are made from the same kind of tree,
Yeah,
but depends on where they picked, how they grow, and how they
Yeah.
prepared. Then they became different sorts of tea. I mean, I'm not saying flowers. I mean,
yeah,
they
I understand what you mean.
Chinese
the
tea. let's
tea.
say.
Yeah, with the tea, it's always caffeinated, but I know in the modern world they have GABA tea sometimes.
GABA is also caffeinated. GABA is a process of fermentation. The
Mm,
thing is with Chinese tea, when they caffeinated, they kind of they have other things like threonine and other things that. So in fact, it's funny because, like, for example, if you drink high quality beer and you drink it like in a ceremonial way, you can feel more going into meditative state and coming down because it has other ingredients that it's not like
Yeah.
brewing coffee to kind of
Yeah,
get
yeah.
high.
I
It's,
know what you mean, yeah.
it's a bit opposite. Maybe true, please.
That cup?
Maybe show to us. Put a
Oh.
light
Sorry. And
in. Okay,
I didn't realize that that's new information.
it's pagoda. Pagoda always
tea.
reminds me of Buddhism as the name of their.
high quality.
That's interesting because GABA is a down regulator.
Which one would you?
This one.
This one?
Sorry?
That's interesting
Not the
because
part,
GABA
the,
is down
um,
regulator.
the
But I
formula,
didn't
yeah.
realize it was also like,
I have a couple of this one and
you
couple
know, because
work.
it works to down regulate.
This is really
That's
good one.
interesting.
Yeah,
I just bought
Um,
recently.
but because it's done in a fermentation,
Yeah.
it's always gonna be stimulating as well. I think it's like got the maybe like balance of a little bit of both.
Mm.
Soothing, but also rousing.
So hunger. We can just take a moment and feel it in our bodies. And hunger, you know, it can be through anything. Hunger for food, hunger for experience, hunger for evolution, hunger for growth, hunger for awakening, hunger for having a divine union, hunger for money, anything that we have a strong drive that we feel I need it, and we feel a little bit kind of obsession with it in a way. This is will be moved by hunger. And bringing the perspective of Richard Roth, nothing is wrong with a shadow. And in fact, when we take a shadow in homeopathic doses, this is kind of, he recommends this approach, just not too much. Just like a little bit, but not get drunk. And this is like an art of dealing with, an art of making a tea.
Like ambitious. Ambition.
Ambition. I understand. So,
Well, yeah, positive kind of ego-driven thing to have. Like ambition.
yeah, I mean, and maybe one of them away.
Oh, children. Don't forget your kids. Such a dad joke. I don't even have kids.
And so, speaking about, let's bring more a bit into silence back before we started to go out from the inside. What's interesting on a physiological level that this shadow is driven by the lack of serotonin, because the threonine activates a process in our system of creating serotonin, like rising the level of oxytocin and serotonin, that basically gives us feeling of happiness, which like relaxation and peace, and gives us a breathing effect to higher frequency as a gift to sleep.
So just to understand, the shadow is the lack of oxytocin.
The shadow is a response in our DNA that kind of keeping us in a loop of having a lower level of serotonin, or even not ability of our body to absorb it. And then we kind of searching for a fast experience that giving us dopamine. As you know, like the dopamine is a fast pleasure, like we'll have later a piece of chocolate, there will be a dopamine. And when we look for a fast pleasure, but in fact, it doesn't help us to create a serotonin. And when we have fast pleasure, then the hunger will search for fast pleasure. Then we will kind of have a peak and then we'll crash again. Have peak and we'll crash again. And then we will stuck in this emotional loop. So then when we have a serotonin, then we kind of more in a stable, peaceful happiness that is not emotional waves. And the hunger is a response of, first of all, of this biological biochemical process in our systems. And also hunger is connected with repeating the same things, the same patterns, and not trying something new in a way, like repeating the same triggers, the same stories, the same mistakes, or the same living in the same paradigm, and feeling maybe a call to change something, but not changing anything in our lives, and stuck in a loop where we don't have any adventures. And even if adventure starts within, this is a message of this key, that you have to look within, this is where adventure starts, but it also connects with the outside world. So like this key brings interesting perspective. We'd call it silo, or what is this?
Silo.
Silo. It's like when we're in a shadow, we kind of stuck in this silos.
Silence.
Silos. How was saying a multiple line?
Silo is a plural word.
Okay, so we're stuck in a silo. You know what silo?
No.
How can you explain silo?
It's in, like, where in like military they put the missile in this thing in the ground. It's like a dig out in the
It's like a closed room where kind of the war, you like stay there, and it's like protected kind of, but it's very like
confined and like impossible to get in without going through one entrance.
Let's, in fact, as we have a new tea right now, let's have a moment of
We didn't bring that.
yeah, I know, connection and silence. There's a red tea pagoda. Connect with
Yes.
our Buddhism memory.
Yunnan Pagoda, Yunnan region.
Well, it's sweet for me.
Very nice.
Very nice.
So what we say about the shadow is going to be two ways. Either we just searching, like we go into extreme and we're searching for experience, constantly distracting ourselves, or we just kind of stuck in the same patterns, like same road I go every day, for example. same restaurant I go every day. Like I completely closed and not open to anything new. And this is going to be both varieties of how this shadow will play out. And what is also interesting is that, as I said, it's connected with serotonin, and that what like scientists say is like a normal barrier, in fact, is a lower, is a shadow barrier for the serotonin in terms of like the gene keys frequencies. That in fact our system can naturally produce high level of serotonin. The only thing we need to do for this is to get out of the shadow and stabilize in the higher frequency of this key. And we will discover later how we do this. And hunger is also basically an emptiness. And the thing is, what is interesting about this key hunger and the whole like spectrum, because as I said, in human design, there is a pathways of certain keys. It's 2 channels, 41, 30, and then 36, 35. So to understand how it works, I want to bring a little bit more perspective that 35 is the throat chakra. So it's like already the, so this is already like a manifestation of experience. And I remember I told you in the beginning, maybe you're not there yet, that I have two gene keys that are only kind of one in the quadrant, the 41st, the start codon, and 35. They're not connected with any others. They're kind of individually and in a way whole within themselves. And 31st is the start codon, it's a start key. And this is the start, it's a Muladhara, it's fantasy. It's like a drive of fantasy of what I want to experience, how I want to evolve, and what experience do I need based on my sensations. It's like we'll connect with food, sex, emotion, pleasure, and anything basically that can, will give me more sensations. And in this case, we have this is how it's all chain reaction start. We have the fantasy. Then our mind goes into try to kind of approach this fantasy, and we have the 30 key of desire. So the fantasy then activates the fire of desire, and desire starts to burn, and it's bringing up emotions. It's connecting with emotional center. Then it's going into 36, and 36 is a possibility of experience, but still not experience, because for experience we need to come to 35 to throat chakra, but 36 is already a way out. But the thing is, when we didn't wait enough time and we didn't have a clarity, then the emotional wave kind of this will express as crisis and hunger, and we'll just jump into one another, and they're not going to be a deep satisfaction. This is how it works in shadow levels. And so when we understand that it starts with fantasy, that burning the fire of desire, and then only when we went through all cycle, it's giving us the possibility to have an experience that potentially we learn something, then we share with others. And then it's also like bringing something to a collective, like to a wholeness, where our experience can be shared through story, through your work, through the book, through the movie, through the song, through the tea, through any form that we might find that we want to share and express it. And so when we speak about the shadow, we might think, okay, so what is then the way to rise the frequency and to overcome this shadow? And for this, we'll speak a bit later. I will now just open the space for your questions or your contemplations about the hunger or about this energy, and what did you feel before we're going to transmuting the shadow. I might put in a pause. Yes, I also feel resonance that was a lot of clearing with the throat chakra recently. that are also connected with this key. And 16, that was the last week, was also in the throat chakra. So we're kind of now in the keys of the throat chakra, the throat center in human design.
Yeah.
And if we will look even in the like mass consciousness, the whole marketing is based on hunger. It's like wherever we see, wherever we look, most of the time we will see that kind of the connection try to be made through hunger. For example, the marketing, either it's something that say, oh, you need this kind of plays on need or on desire, on fulfilling feelings, sensations, emotions. So in any case, it will be kind of pulling us in a way to fulfill the hunger. But then, as we speak about this, but what are these needs that really I need, and what are these needs that in fact is just a way to try to find satisfaction outside when it can be just really truly found on the within, and that's that this is where this key is guiding us, kind of. And yeah, the more we move, I would say here, we start to unlock this kind of biochemical dilemma that instead of trying to fulfill the desire outside, we start to look within to the roots of desire and to the roots of any need, and to the roots of hunger, I would say. And because in a way, any hunger, any desire is a way to get to fulfill the emptiness. We've been sharing something similar about this, like all this weight within. And this key is bringing us, instead of constantly approaching this energy and kind of pulling it, pushing it outside, we bring this within. In fact, I felt something interesting today when, and it's happened in a very interesting way, because it was like some kind of argument I had recently when it was not even, it was not a conflict, because it was not two people, it was, I had an argument with him about something, but then after that, when I was meditating, I felt how kind of the energy came into my system, and I felt a kind of push of energy up through my spine, and I felt like how the Kundalini started to rise, and I felt how it's created like like in Tao practices we do this orbits, like kind of an orbit, micro or macro orbit with me and universe, kind of like this, and the energy started to circulate.
The Taurus.
Yeah, something. The energy started circulating this way. And in a way, what this key is guiding us to let the void be filled through the within and connect with the love. And in a way, it's a we all search for love through different ways, but we kind of search in our own places because we didn't really go within. And what this gift and this key especially, I really love how Richard God described this. This is the only key in the all 64 metrics of the gene keys in the whole genome where a person, human being, has a real access into transforming this key and its DNA. So most of the keys, the way how we move from shadow to give the kind of miracle, right? There's no really like practice or like you should do this and then you will go into the gift. It's yes, contemplation, acceptance of shadow, and then it's happened. But within this key, it's kind of the only key where we have ability to access our DNA and to create, to activate the transformation. In a way, like this is kind of the only key where if we will speak about free will, where we have a free will. Like say within the all 64s, it's all orchestrated by God. Within this 35, this is where we, in a way, can become a God. This is where we can activate, where we have the free will, and through this key, which we might say the miracles, and miracles possible. This key, in a way, it's called like this, you know, like this voids in time and space that if you go through them, you kind of appears in absolutely another dimension of realities. Like through this key, which we can, in a way, go into highest timeline and activate it and ground without any other needs, healings, or whatever. It's like this kind of an energy that in a way gives us access to the ultimate power, and but has only one, not a rule, but how to say, has only one component that's needed for this process to happen. Before I tell, I would love to ask you, how do you think, what is this one thing, or this one component, something that's needed for this for activation of free will of and a miracle that lies within this key?
Truth, truth.
Decision.
Honesty.
Choice.
All right, I would say, but it's even deeper. We have to be willing to risk everything for love.
For love. For God, yes.
This is a new tea as well. Before you say what
What
is
is it?
love.
The new tea,
New
but
tea.
also red.
This is a Taiwan Sun
Wait.
Moon Lake red tea.
Yeah, we have to be willing to. She doesn't want to. For me, in fact, I still have a previous one.
That's a new drink.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for activate the power of this skill, we have to be willing to let go everything and to risk everything for the love.
I was going to say surrender, but the others
Yeah.
are needing for surrender. This one, it's a little
Is
more
it
external. That's what you were saying.
Yeah, I would say it's an ultimate choice of love.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's not even surrender to like higher will. It's kind of fully coming to a state where in a way, like I know that I am love and this is all within, and at the same time I'm willing to give everything, like all my desires, all my hunger, all my shadows, all my ideas, how my life should be, what should be, what I think I want, or whatever manifestations I created, kind of everything. I would say that this key, when I listened about this key, it gave me so many goosebumps, maybe also because I have 36 in my chart. And, you know, when you have one key and then another is coming, that's half of the channel, we get access to raise the whole energy. That's also, we feel more like, in a way, activated by this energy. And this keys reminds me of mystical heart, what we can call a mystical heart. It's like when we go through mystical journey, when we, in a way, just give to a fire everything. All the plans, ideas, stories, desires, manifestations. And I told this story already before, but for example, for 10 years, I've been manifesting divine union. When I completely let go of all the manifestations, when I completely surrender everything and said that, okay, I choose God and only, and each and every moment, I choose just to be grounded in the heart. I'm tired of plans, I'm tired of ideas, I'm tired of manifestations, I'm tired of working with timeless and quantum fields and organize the soul. I just completely surrender, and my only purpose is to be in the heart in each and every moment, no matter what does it mean. And as soon as like I started to do this, and as soon as I started to ground in this, the divine union manifested itself.
Bonjour.
Appeared from nowhere.
From nowhere.
Almost fall from the
From
sky.
everywhere.
And the fun is like when we met and when I felt this like connection, my personality was like, universe, like, no, like I don't want any relationship. Like I said to universe, if you need, you organize it yourself. I will not make any, I will not like try to do anything. Like I'm completely done. If you need it, you do it. I will be here, but I'm not gonna do anything. And then
Cheers to that.
I'll have a new tea.
Yes, you need
Okay.
these Taiwan some. It's quite. I'll have to do make a different.
I can.
It's very tasty.
And also speaking about this key, then we might want to question, but then what the love is, when we say we need to give everything to love. And the love is in fact is not connection with somebody or something. It's not like a person, or not like my job or whatever. And it's even not me. It's not even love with myself, or it's not even love with God as some external figure that I connected with, for example. In terms of this key, we will see that the love is the force that binds everything together. That kind of the force that connects, that ties everything together. But yeah, but not in terms of, a lot of time when we say God, we think it's like something external outside, when this is just a force that unites everything. And so, for example, the city of the second gene is unity, that is love, that is God. So this is where this key is guiding us, not even to like external connection, not even to our highest form of love, but I mean highest form of interior love, physical love. It's the love that is just like like this force that makes everything be united and be one. And this is where the real adventure starts, because in the hunger, we just kind of, let's say, we stay in this very limited paradigm when we see only like the physical aspects of what can satisfy me, and like, or we can go even in the hamster wheel of healing. If we speak about hunger, the lust is hunger, the desire is hunger, the temptation is hunger, the physical hunger, like when it's really like hunger for food is hunger, the seeking is hunger, the addiction is hunger, the addiction to spiritual practices is hunger, the addiction to healing is hunger. It's all coming from the void. And the thing is, they're never gonna be anything external that will fulfill the void ever. No matter how much years we spend, no matter what we created, no matter how much houses we build, or kids we have, or partner, or whatever our spiritual practices was doing, they're never gonna be anything that would fulfill the void until we face it directly. And we will see that, in fact, that love that is the force that's, as I said, just unites everything. exist, and kind of to see this, it's happening when we get this paradox is happening when serotonin is increasing in our system, and that's moving us naturally to higher dimension, and then we can experience, not that it was never existed, it's just we were vibrating lower, so for us that dimension was not there. But when we reach when we the level of serotonin goes up, then we able to experience this, and then we come in more to this kind of one of the technique of the scale. So then how we can reach this level of serotonin, if we spoke already that kind of in a shadow level, it's naturally goes down, limited, and that will naturally have this lag. And this kick is a very, very simple solution. You have to give a condition unconditionally. If you start give unconditionally to others, that naturally will rise your serotonin and will naturally bring you to a higher frequency. The only rule, like, it should be really absolutely unconditional.
Wow.
So I should give my blood to mosquitoes.
That's true.
This is so interesting.
So, yes, and in fact, it's interesting because, yeah, in the Jinky game, you remember you played, I told there's one secret rule how you can rise the frequency. And in a game, it happens if one of the participants give his money to another. Example, oh, I see you need this to buy gifts. When one gives, then it's naturally rise the frequency, and this person automatically comes into gift. That's why it's showing that it's like it's how you call it, like this is a key of quantum leaps. This is a key in order of like in fact, that's what came into me yesterday when I was contemplating on this key. It's not a matter of how much time you invested into something, or how much time you tried to do something. It happens in a quantum leap when you're ready. And before that, you can, it's in a way of preparation, but when you're ready, the quantum leap happens. And think of quantum leap is that it happens and then there is no way back. It's a radical change within the atomic structure of your system of the DNA that creating a new kind of structure in the DNA, and there is no way back after this. It's no like falling down, no reverse. It happens and it happens in a way forever. That's why for logical mind, for our mind, we can't understand how to access it, because we try to control it, when in a way we have to give everything. Because why this act of unconditional love and conditional giving is that when we're doing this, we are sending the vibration to ourselves that we are in the state of love, in a way, in the state of love and God and goddess, where we have so much that we cannot not to give, that is overflowing, because it's just like, for example, a fullness of love. So kind of by creating this frequency in a way, because in this key we can create a frequency, it's becoming a reality. That's where this in a way quantum techniques is leading you. So for example, if you want to activate abundance, you need first to feel and act with this. This we're going to be the same, because we can feel anything, even if it's not now. For example, I material experience within this key, you can in a way reprogram yourself to anything, and when you really feel and act with this, that is becoming your reality. So what do you think about this? Do you feel want to share anything about this key? We're opening just again today's.
Can you share that last bit that I'm still okay? So we have to give, but is it any kind like transactional, or is it some selflessness? Is it like a selfless giving, or is it like, do I need to just, for example, like transact with the world and not like give How's it work?
Unconditionally giving.
So nothing in return. And then all my serotonin receptors will be fine.
Well, if you try to act with the mind that I'll give it for my serotonin receptors to go higher, this is not unconditional.
True.
Because and this is the thing, that's why it's like it's like a mystical key, because you give from the feeling of fullness. When you give because you feel so much that, or you have so much in a way that you cannot not to give. The giving itself, the act of giving is already what in a way gives you pleasure. The act of giving is for you already now. And there is no need of anything to return. There is no need to activate the serotonin. And that's why we really need to come within, to feel into this state. Then when we ask for this, then it's what kind of create this mutation process in our system, go to the new level.
I feel like this is quite, this has been something quite complicated for me to know, like on a subtlety level, because even in the place of being full and in giving, there's like a part of yourself that needs to meet yourself inside and needs to meet your own truth and desires. Otherwise, you can't be in that full space to give. And I just feel with the unconditional love, I've kind of had a hard experience in relating sometimes, in the sense I've been so boundless with my love that I've almost given so much and compromised so much of my own self that, like, for example, right now, it doesn't actually feel loving. It feels the opposite, because it's like, because there's now hurt feelings. It's like giving over so much and compromising and accepting. Like, where's the point of where you put a boundary in accepting like something that is the full spectrum of life, but is also hurting you, because in that it doesn't feel like love, you know? And this is where I struggle with this concept, because like we speak about unconditional love, but for love to flourish, I feel like there's certain standards sometimes that need to be applied, like, you know, not letting people belittle you, or feeling like, yeah, like just like in any unhealthy dynamic where yeah, where you're compromising, and like, I know you don't need to react to the hurt, but it's also, it's real, it's happening, it's impacting like your human experience. So that's where I like don't know with this high expression.
Thank you for sharing. I would say that this key is bringing us beyond human beings. It's showing us about true nature in a way that there is a level, for example, of relationship. And as I said in that, you know, when I was speaking about the gift, that's, we're not speaking here about a love, for example, between relating love. We go into unconditional love. That is not even between me and you, for example, between me and like my partner, between me and my kids and my parents. It's a love where when I dive into this love, I experience what does it mean, the existence of God. And I can speak also from, let's say, personal experience, even if it's not very personal, because when you go into this level, there's no personal, but long time ago, I had like kind of a tough lesson where I was some relationship where the life was teaching me about unconditional love, but yeah, it was hard for me because I wanted it to be represented through exact person where it was not happening the way I wanted. To the point after 1.5 years trying to do anything, doing so many different healings and doing different things, I just found surrender. Or it just happened, I would say. And when it's happened, and I don't even remember, at some point I started to change intention for the things I've been doing, not to connect it in any way with that person, but in fact for me to experience what the true love is, that is this widened force of universe. And then when that happened, then I realized that the person was always just a door, but I wanted a door to be that. I wanted a door to be love. I wanted the door to be God. I wanted him to be that unconditional love, where it's contradiction itself. That was never about him or about me or about relating. It was about my soul truly connecting with God. And then when that happened, then I just felt so much peace in a way that I saw perfection in everything. I saw that this all was so perfect and it had to happen exactly that way, because otherwise, if the life would give me what I thought at the time I needed, then I would never I would never experience what is real love. And a lot of times when we're in relationship, think that we're given from unconditional love. It's in deeper, it's not true, because we're giving because there is like inner child that needs something in return. Like we think we're given unconditionally, but we're creating codependency, and we're creating patterns where we're not truly giving from unconditional love. There's still like the part that is like that void or that lack that needs something, and then because then we don't receive, we feel pain and like rejection or whatever this feeling. That means that we need to dive there. Maybe at some point stop giving, stop connecting external level until we can dive deeper to that inner level. Because when in a way everything is always guiding us towards this the source within. But we need to have enough of trying in a way fulfill the word from outside, so our attention will naturally draw within, in a way I would say. And then when it happens, and then when we meet the one is within, then it's even changing. We see naturally if this connection then is healthy for you or not. Like you want to pour energy into that or not. And you don't need like then to save anybody, or you don't need to keep your love close because you're afraid to be hurt. It's because then you act from in a way a different level of frequency. Yeah.
It's just the timing is just so perfect, because this last week, every of my meditation in the morning, especially this morning, I really I confirmed this within myself that this is my choice again and again. But today it was like, I'm giving you all, God. Like I'm giving you my heart, my life, my desires, everything. And it's like from that place, all the story, all my past, my future, and just allowing to be a vessel. And there's literally nothing else. The desire for control, giving up all of this. And yeah, it's just incredible, really. And that came after having such a deep experience, looking at all the shadows and seeing the choice that we have upon this, because for me, the shadow from this key sounds a little bit like the karmic loops that we need to close, which are literally addictions and things that we unconsciously go towards. So when we can cut this by choice, and then with our own will choosing the highest timeline, we can literally quantum leap into what is the truest for the soul. And ultimately, what's the truest for the soul is to serve. Love is to give. Love, actually, it's what I found at this. And it just feels so good because it's not about you and your littleness anymore. It's about that sharing experience that moves through you, that allow life to happen around you. And it's just so beautiful.
Sharing. And then you see that, you know, deeper picture, the love cannot be rejected. This is what heals the rejection wound. Because when you dive into the nature of love and you become in love, you see that the love can never be rejected. Yeah, on a personal level, we can choose to connect, not connect. It can be any stories played out due to the karma or soul contracts. But on a high level, the love that is love is never going to be rejected because it's like to say that I reject an air and like what? It's still here, it's still breathing, and it's still going into all my system, making me alive, kind of the same as love. And I would say this key is radical, this key is a key of mystical heart, mystical path. And also what's interesting when we say about this key is being in the heart, in fact, what does it mean is being in the heart is being in our solar plexus. Being in our heart is activating this ganglia, this ganglias that is in a way transmuting our awareness and bringing us from our head to our solar plexus, and through solar plexus we experience in a way the soul and experience the higher reality, where we also access that source of love. And also this is what's shared in the Jinkies. This is also what I experienced through ayahuasca, I remember once, and also maybe through San Pedro, when I had huge process happening in my solar plexus. And when it's kind of happened, then I felt just the absolute oneness with God and with love, and the waves of orgasmic feelings moving through my body, feeling that like it's all just absolute orgasm, ecstasy happening each and every second. That just the only person who was limiting this was me. Always, nobody rejected me or abandoned me or didn't give me love or anything. All the time it was always me separating myself from source. When I opened, then I realized that, oh, you know, it's like kind of, imagine like there is like this air, but for example, you stay in the balloon or something that forbid you to breathe. And then you just have a little hole and like you breathe through this hole and you think that's not enough air. But if you break the balloon, that's this protection mechanism we have. And suddenly it's so much air you can breathe in. You don't need to be suffocated. The same with the ski, the same with love. Yeah. So going to city.
Yeah, it was awesome. So because like for example in like yoga system, we work a lot on this region, solar plexus, because like it's how we kind of yoga, they say you force the energy upward. With, for example, like bandhas, these like ways to push the energy of Dhyana bandhas upward. This pressure here like creates, yeah, like tunes the energy up to your like. It's used actually to for enlightenment in a way, like Spanish. So
What was the question?
I'm just curious, like how it's and then connected with like okay, yeah, so it's all yeah, okay. I'm just curious about the throat and the this channel. Is there maybe is it connected with, for example, the I know it's endocrine. Is it endocrine system?
Endocrine system, yeah.
It's the hormones and things, but about like the vagal
Yeah.
tone and vagal nodes.
Mhm.
Is it like also this like nervous system?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's connected with the nervous system there.
Yeah, it's all interconnected. And the thing is with this key is that when we it's hard to say because I really see this as a kind of mystical process that yeah, that happens when we truly ready to surrender, and we're ready to surrender. Like what I found through my experience and through working with like people that were ready to surrender in only one case when we just had enough. And enough for everybody is going to be different. Like enough of trying, enough of suffering, enough of healing, enough of reprogramming, enough of like whatever, anything what we kind of want to end. And it's different, like the limit of this enough is different for every person. But when we have enough, when we came to this kind of border, then we're like, okay, I'm just surrendering, or like I'm just giving it all just because like I'm done. I can't do this anymore. Out of second, I literally would vomit if I do any more of the things again. And then when we fully, in a way, invite, you know, surrendering to the light, to the God, and we realizing that all this time, kind of the access this was here, but we've been looking into different directions. And we had to, it was like, what? And like not enough of chocolate yet.
Well,
And
I just wrote a poem called Surrender.
mhm.
I
You
feel
just
like
wrote or found?
a poem
Uh-huh.
about surrender. I feel like it's very like on the theme of this. Yeah. It's like
You want to read?
I can read if you
Yeah.
like.
Yeah. I'd like for.
maybe I will do like this.
I wrote this right before I went to the Vipassana. Let's see.
Not close to me.
No, close to you.
Leave it there.
We will
Okay, I'll put
It's my first day.
temptate you.
First day is the hardest. First week is the hardest.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
We went to work.
There's strength in surrender and weakness in control, as there's soul in surrender and fear in control. What do you choose to lead with? What you have been told, or the inkling voice inside, which is your unbounded soul? Will you stay in line to what was before you, or open up to so much more? Do you believe it will work out for you, or does self-critic haunt your goals? Do you dare to dream as you once did, as you were a child? Or does your mind deem that childish, dim your light, speak less? Who are you to shine the godly inside? Well, I'm here to wake you up, to tell you you're not wrong. You are a perfect being inside with your own unique soul song. You are here to have a life of your own, to share your unique essence. Nothing is more worthy than that, the fact you are here, divine presence.
Please believe in that. We want to see and feel you here. There is so much beauty unhatched. Wait till you see, my dear. For the soul continuously surrenders its true essence to you. Open up in gratitude and hear, and soon enough you will see, my dear, there was nothing here to fear.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for listening. There's
Did you write it?
Yeah, I
a
wrote it.
beautiful poem for this Jinky.
Mhm.
Also remind me of one quote. It's like, it's about like the opening of the roads, but it's about opening of us. And in one point, and in one point, the fear of unknown became less than pain of kind of staying in this tightness. It's not the super quote, it's said better there, but kind of in a row, like it's a fear to open because you don't know, it's no one what's gonna happen when you open it. But the pain, the suffering of staying in this closeness became too much and much bigger than the fear of unknown. And then we just open it or like surrender. And yeah, and then you're realizing that you just come into a mystical journey where in a way there is no rules. It's why we see the quantum reality, because there's no rules. There's no the only one rule is love in each and every moment. And that's even not a rule because you can't put it in a form that your mind will understand. And it's not about, oh, how I do in this situation. Should I give love to this person? Because sometimes the way of unconditional love would be say no and like flow some connection. And sometimes it will be giving, and it's not illogical. That's why we can, yes, accept our present and we feel it in the moment. And deeper it's opening this is when this, like, in a way, alchemy process happening. Then speaking about what you was also asking about solar plexus and saying what I've experienced sometimes recently, that I found a difference between when energy is kind of stuck here. Then, for example, when the energy is here, or like not it's stuck, but it's more concentrated here. Then when something is happening that's create a reaction, it's kind of reacting through here. It's kind of, it's going from this out and projecting and reacting. And then I found there is sometimes, I think, when the energies here is naturally, it's like it's burning, warming, and it's going up, and kind of here like a boiling pan, and the energy is naturally is going here, and then it's more concentrated here. And then when reaction is happening, it's just transmuting itself. Then kind of the reaction is, it's not even happening because there is no need to attach anything outside of projected. Then naturally everything dissolves back into love. And when, for example, I notice the focus of the drops here, then again it's more action because it's like the projection of things. Did you hear me?
No, man.
It's so wild because 2 days ago, well, not last night, but the night before, the first night I'd come out of the Vipassana, and I had this actually happen in the Vipassana as well, but it was more from my belly actually. It was really deep, like fire come up in my belly. But yeah, 2 nights ago, I had so much fire and pain right here, like where you were speaking. Like I went to sleep and I had to sit up and just fully feel the pain, and like I just had a big cry. And then yeah, it was like on my lungs, and I could feel like on my heart, and it was like almost like this stabbing pain. And it was like I had this like conversation with what felt like God, and I chose, like, I ultimately feel like I did choose love. And in that moment, it just like passed. And then that was the first night I hadn't had asthma. And I haven't had asthma since, when I'd like had asthma for like over a month. Yeah, but it's so weird. It's this like place. It's definitely
So
something
we're
going on there. Like,
awakening happening.
yeah.
When you yeah, I remember you've been telling one that there's like some sub chakra or something, how it calls.
There's the chi, right?
There's it depends on, there's different systems pulling in different things. But the like if we use like tantric like sense, then the navel is like the kind of the center of the fire, and then or Manipur, and then to make that leap, in fact, that's the leap that's been spoken of here, where you come into your heart, that you have to overcome this like plexus, like web of like emotions, and it's like a whole what like they call it manojao chakra. It's like kind of here to stop this energy from like moving upwards. And I mean, I've done, for example, I did Chakrapani, did a really big process to actually unblock my chakras.
Oh, that was for this one, or
That was for all of them. Not for everything, but I've worked with a tantric master to unblock my 6 chakras. And this was the like most intense part of the whole journey, to get from here to here, because I had to like die essentially. You had to like burn the impurities, and like in a way it's like ayahuasca level, like just die, like no going back. Once it erupts, a volcano erupts, it's not gonna unerupt. It's fire, and then everyone's going through a nightmare. It's a nightmare. But I would say I've always had an affinity with Manipur, because I always knew its value. Just you won't believe, it's just how it's that chakra is there to help you awaken. It's that chakra that's there, and it's kind of transmuting all of the human like kind of
Emotions, attachments, hunger.
everything. It's whatever's stuck. Only Manipur can, because you need to burn it. That's why in like Balinese tradition, Indian tradition, they're always using the fire. They're always lighting candles, ghee, like and forget what the words are, but yeah, the deepams, like they're always lighting little ghee lamps, like oil lamps, because it's the symbol of like the resurrection in a way, and like burning the kind of jumping in the fire, and
Imagine,
light.
yeah,
Only light can go beyond these temporary human.
yeah, something like this, I would
Emotions.
say. Imagine that the hunger is like the web of this like emotion sensation that's like strings. And so these strings were connected to everything outside. They are representing our attachments, our stories, our projections, basically our emotions, and then kind of we attaching them to everything. And then like your partner says something, or like some situation or on the street when driving, or with your friend, with your client, whatever, in different aspects of life is always what pulling the strings. And then most of the time when we don't have awareness, we let this playing out, the emotions, reactions, and all these things. But the process of this quantum leap, and this transformation is that we are taking out the strings. We unplugging in a way. And by doing this, every time, for example, when you feel the reaction, you're seeing how this string that's trying to connect to something, you have a choice at this moment to kind of to pull it back. I remember a long time ago when I was in a way practicing this in one of my relationships where I decided in a way in some point to have a radical approach. Whatever my mind was telling, I was saying, I don't believe you. I choose love. Like whatever, fuck off. Like whatever story, I don't believe it. And in a way it was like radical because I had to anything to just let go. And then I found that it was not like for a relationship or something. In fact, it was all for me to liberate and to come to deeper sense of this, the love within. But, and it was not about this person, it was with that person, they were kind of the human relationship finished in a way, but the unconditional love, I would say, is always stayed there. In a, on a soul level, the love is did never changed, in fact. And we could meet for 10 years, it still will be there, because when you met with somebody on a level of love that deep, that it's not about person, it's not fluctuating, it's just it's there. And here on a human level, we can choose how we relate kind of to one another, and we're building the relationships, but we need to also be clear that the relationships, they're not always, like, for example, the love is essential fuel for relationships, but love doesn't mean that you need to have a relation with this person, because then there's other things about your soul, contracts, missions, whatever. There are so many things that will also determine this way. So yeah, who spoke about hunger, as I said, is unplugging the strings. So then the energy goes hard, goes here, and here, yeah, it's quantumly, because it's feeling like it's a jumping through the void. Reminds me of this cartoon we watched recently. How would you call it, with wizards?
Elemental.
No, with that one. It was like about the guy who discovered wizard power, and they had to come through.
Magic.
Yes, they had to come through a breach, and to activate like something like the bridge will go to another bank, but he like there was special wizard spell to kind of to activate the bridge, but in fact it was, if you have the spell, then you walk, and kind of even if you work on like nothingness, you still walk, and your step is kind of creating a bridge, but you had to believe, you have to step into the the void, just believing, just had faith that it will work in a way, and believe every your step, like every step you trust, you have faith, you believe, and it's creating like the bridge that kind of you want. And this is the same with the skin, with this love. It's have to have faith and fully believe in it. And this is happens here when we come more into the seat of boundlessness. Again, when there is no one words to describe, it's beyond the words. In adventure, I would say, in adventure, we in a way take this radical approach of changing our system, changing our DNA. And also what can be practical here is to try different way. Try the different routine in the morning. Like tries, or like if you go to like one shop every time, ask the name of the person. It's about going out of these boxes. It's about connecting. It's about acting differently. It's about, how he said an example, maybe you will leave a food for a bird, or maybe you will ask a name of a stranger. That try to create bridges instead of staying in your own box and feeling like kind of that this is how it should be and this is enough for you. And create adventure not only within but also outside in a way of expansion and connecting with others on a deeper level. Like don't separate yourself. So, a little more, or maybe
This is, I mean, it's not very good at.
This is the last one, right?
Yeah, this is the
Second.
where, Hong Fun Spring. Funny name. But spring bud. Hunger.
no, no,
Hunger.
no, no.
No. We have to jump from hunger to boundlessness. We might need a bit of adventure to get there.
Don't touch my teeth.
Yes.
Just have a moment of silence.
There is still one thing remaining, the tea we must overcome.
Should be.
Good addiction. Good.
Yeah.
So what happens on the transition between gift and CD level? On a gift level, we starting to act from a space of love. We kind of embodying this. And the more we're doing this, the more it's activating this biochemical new responses in our system that starts it now. Our body starts naturally produce serotonin, oxytocin, and rising the frequency. Then what's happening is that then what's happening is that on a gift level, it's not that we don't have fear. The fear still exists in our system, but we choose to transmute it. We choose in every moment to act from love. I remember a long time ago, I read in one book, I think it was a book about relationship or something, but there was like kind of a question there. Like somebody was asking kind of a God or advice, and the God said, ask love how love would act in this situation, what love would do, what love would say. And then it's going to be an answer for you. Connect with love and see how love would reply in this situation, how love would act in this situation. And as I said, on a gift level, there is still a fear, but we transmuting it and we choosing be connected with the higher reality by every moment, action and choice and choosing your love. Then when we come into a CD level, we come in a way beyond time and space. In a CD level, there is no personality. There's nobody who can even experience love because there is just love or God or source. So it's absolutely dissolving yourself. And only in that stage, the boundlessness exists, because this is just a consciousness itself, the God itself. The CD is in this CD, we face the last separation is the boundaries or the borders of our own identity. The bubble we have, all the stories, all the beliefs I have about myself, about my life, or whatever, what I want, even my mission, whatever, anything, whatever I kind of believe in, whatever I connect with, attach with. In a way, this last borders is what I have to let go. I kind of have to fully merge with the source or with the God. I have to let go of the last border of separation. That will show me that then how I see it is just then like the love is just floods the system, and then there is no you anymore. It's you dissolving into this fire of love. And in this dissolving, you experiencing the boundlessness. Reminds me honestly of one of the psychedelic experience I had long time ago, where when it started to happen, the dissolving, my ego was so freaking out. I was like, no, oh, we can die. And tried to hide, tried to run, tried to fight, until I realized I can only just sit and become it. Not even surrender, funniest thing, but just be and become. Because when I've tried to surrender to God, the life showed me that the final realization happened with the kind of a voice, like there was a lot of pain in my head when I felt like my brain was like so transmuting, where the final realization happens with this whisper that you are God, like I am God, I am creator. There is nobody I can surrender to, because there is nothing exists outside of me, because there is no me that exists. There is nobody who can surrender in a way. The act of, at that level, even the act of surrendering is also illusion, because what I try to surrender is not exist. That's seeing that there is only the love of the source of God that exists, and then is when the boundlessness happens, kind of dissolving any separation, any borders that separate me from source or from love or from my true nature. And in a way, it even can be scary, because it's something like, yeah, it's like a death, I would say. It's not what we can prepare for, definitely. Like, it's not that we can practice or meditate, or we can prepare stillness within, we can prepare just groundedness in our heart. But when the sleep is happening, at that time, we're just in a way letting go everything. This is what the boundlessness. And from that moment, yeah, it activates this kind of miracle energy, where in this case where we activate the city, in this key where we activate different miracle abilities, where they're working with elements, creating like objects from nothingness, from the energy, where kind of wherever any abilities, any cities we can imagine is here in this city, is in Boundless, because this city is showing us that time and space does not exist. We go into a space of no time and no space. We go into a way out to nature, and then this yeah, from this we can even kind of create anything, but not even we need to, but we will do what is just most naturally flows through us in a way. And for me, this case is quite radical. It's like it's piercing through the all layers of illusion straight to the heart of God. This, and it's asking us to fully embody it, fully become it, without any distractions or without any even also ideas about it. So I'm wondering how you feel about the city. What's your feelings? Maybe had some experiences. If you want to share before we go to meditation.
Yeah, for me it's very exciting.
Mhm.
It's very exciting.
Mm.
Like I remember a few months ago, I would still be like, no, I don't want that. My ego was like, no, I don't want that. But now I do. And personally, I think that my morning practice really helped me, because when I can dissolve in that unconditional love and allow each part in my body that is still in resistance to that unconditional love I can become closer to that a little bit every day as my natural state, not just in my meditation. So it's like it's just expanding to my life experience as I'm anchoring this into my practice every day. Yes, it's very exciting.
So if you will dissolve like in a Lucy, if you watch a Lucy movie, when she downloaded to 100% and she just disappeared.
Haven't seen. I
Oh,
want to watch it.
You should watch, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll watch together on Thursday.
See, can we?
Yeah. Maybe we
This-
do that.
It's very psychedelic movie.
Yeah, we'd love to, please. Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm. I don't feel like I have too much to say to this. I'm feeling very, yeah, like I definitely feel this. And I've definitely had my own experiences of dissolving. And yeah, something that kind of, when you were sharing about the the death part of the Vipassana, they said that when you die, the level of consciousness you're at when you die is like what goes on to the next. So if you're like, I can't die, like in this like frantic, like attaching moment, then you carry all this like weight. Whereas like the aim is, yeah, to just be in this place of like receptivity and surrender and like death coming and just being like welcoming it and just like it. Yeah, I've had this experience where even just learning a little bit about the souffle, what's it called?
Sutra?
Like the I went to a thing here, a workshop. It was
Sufi?
Sufi workshop. That was speaking a little bit about their writings and their philosophies, and I found it very insightful because they were describing this is what they go into when they do their dance, is they just go fully connect to this like source of like God almost. And yeah, when they were describing it, I was like, oh, I had that same experience, but it was like the biggest nightmare of my life. But for them, it was like the most blissful and like freeing and liberating experience. And I realized how it's really like the mind attaching and this that really determines if you're going to be in the bliss and the love and like, or if you're going to be like scattering and like, you know, mentally like holding and like in that contraction. So I definitely like feel this, and I feel it's been good to hear this because it's just deepened the philosophy and this. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. I would love to say something before your return. About Sufi and this state of their recognition about your nature happening in relaxation. That's when Sufi is spinning. They've been doing a little bit of this practice in this short time. It's like you're centered, but you're also absolutely surrendered. And you have to kind of fully let go when you control, because the moment you try to understand, the moment you try to, and a fear appears, oh, what if I would crush in something or something, like you collapsed. You can be only in absolute, like in a center within, but also in absolute surrender. And then what's interesting, there is I think how they check how you like embody this practice when you spinning, and then you have to very fast stop, like you spinning, and then have at some point just stop, and you do like this. You kind of stopping, and you do like this, and then your body still out like in by inertia, your body is still going into like you kind of stepping, but your body by inertia is still going like this. And if you can stay in your center and not fall down, then you will you stabilize the center. If you fall off that, you will not really do the practice, you can just like kind of in the clouds. And what was saying about relaxation, you notice it yourself that the only difference is how relaxed you are. It's like when God enters us, or when love enters us, or when the dance is happening, that is the same. There is only one thing that will show how we will experience this. When we relax, we will experience this bliss and ecstasy. When we contract it, we will experience this as pain and suffering. But so that means like the only thing we can do is relax. The only way we can embody love is relax. The more we relaxing, the more we letting the higher consciousness enter our system. And that's what's the fun is that when woman given a birth, she has an increase of serotonin and oxytocin. That's why she can do this. Because if she has so much fear and contracted, that's why it will be painful. Sometimes they do shorts or whatever. So we said the woman has to be in a serotonin and oxytocin. That's why she can go through the portal of death and come back with a child. Because that's what's happening. Wait, she's become a portal of death.
I fully believe that. And like how people who are so controlled and go into like pre-planned, whatever it is, like to have the baby, and how they're in so much pain. Because I had one of my neighbors, she had an ecstatic birth, and she gave birth with just her husband and her mum in the home. She didn't go to the doctors once. She didn't know what sex it was going to be. She hadn't gone to any checkup. She just fully surrendered and trusted that what was going to be was going to be. And then she had the baby within 2 hours, which is like quite unheard of. And it was like she had an orgasmic pregnancy. And it's like, yeah, it's wild how you can have such polarizing experiences depending on that opening, which I guess like I feel is that boundlessness. Yeah.
And there's the thing, you have to choose the opening. Not like, oh, I will choose when I will see and the God will show me. You have to choose it first. Like for trust, you have to trust first. You first have to choose it, to choose love, to choose trust, to choose faith fully. Then it will come to you. Not like, oh, the first I need confirmation, then I will choose it. Because this is the mind. You first choose it, and then life responds to you. So this is why this key is showing us, yes, you have a free, and only kind of here you have this free will choice. You have to make it, you have to fully believe in it. That's why I'm saying this steps from this cartoon. He had to believe this, the main hero. Every step he was making, he had to believe that like it will appear as something he stood on. Thank you. On check. We out of time. You share.
Unconditional love.
More chocolate?
Yeah, no. This key feels like, yeah, I feel like I'm connecting with the miracle and this theme of the miracle, because I've been trying this whole evening, trying to understand what is this key. I'm like, nothing's adding up. Nothing makes sense. And then just you shared the last thing there, making me understand that you just have to choose it. Have to choose the miracle. Otherwise, it will not exist. It will not happen. And yeah, in a way, it's a mystical path. It's being a creator, like you said. And those moments of miracle come when you just choose them. Like you don't have to wait for one day. They will come when you soften there and in a way remember your true nature.
Yeah, let's do a little meditation. We can be 10 minutes late, so it's okay. Let's just close our eyes. Have a deep breath. Feel your body. Your presence. Feel how energy moves through your system. Or the connection with Mother Earth and Father Sky. The light in your heart, the rainbow sphere around you. And feel to the 35th Jinki. And first, let's feel into shadow of hunger. Feel where is it in your system, in your body, feel how you responding to it, feel what triggers the hunger in you. And feel just the love that you can give to the shadow. Feel how energy is going higher into the gift. The more you're giving your love and presence, the more transmutation is happening. Adventure. What is your adventure right now? What is your adventure about? See what can be actions you also need to do to embody more this gift of adventure. And then seeing this fire in your heart that is burning stronger. And inviting the city of boundlessness into your system. Becoming the city of boundlessness. Feeling it into your system, fully choosing or surrendering or this closer to you, becoming it. Becoming just the consciousness and love that has no limits, no borders, no any limitations. Letting this frequency come through your nadis, upgrading your energy system, and receiving that much that you need. Softening, relaxing. And for 1 minute, we will just stay in silence, just receiving this frequency. I'm making 3 deep breaths, breathing through your nose, breathe out through your mouth. Rub your palms if you need, and stay longer until you're ready to crown to turn your body and open your eyes. Staying in this frequency, you don't need to leave this frequency, you can stay in the boundlessness, right? Also, being in your human. Yeah, I think we need to go. We will finish here. Maybe we can share there later because we need to give a space for setting up the sting for music later on. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Let's just yeah.